Hey, this is Mike Lindsay from Vital MX. We're out here at Fox Raceway today. I'm kitted up in Fox for a reason. We have the all-new V3 RS. This is Fox Racing's flagship product in the helmet brand for motocross segment. If you've been checking out the races, AC's actually been in this thing for a couple weeks. We featured it as a little bit of a teaser on the website, but here we go. I got one in hand. Usually I go straight into tech specs on these kind of things to start out, but I'll give you guys my genuine first impression because there was some genuine surprise today. So I get this thing out, comes in a nice premium bag, open it up. This is one of the cooler production helmets I've had in a long time, between the colorway, little stripes, exposed carbon. It's a cool new look, a cool new design. So yeah, stoked on that alone by itself. But then I start opening up the rest of the bag, and inside I'm finding extra cheek pads, both thinner and thicker, in the color matching teal for this colorway. There's a full clear visor that's longer that has a mud padding underneath it, an extension clear visor that goes to this one for roost or for glare. There was even a different mouthpiece to put a drink tube through, extra screws, a bunch of stuff. And I looked at the guys from Fox and I was like, man, thanks for all the goodies. And they're like, no, that's what it comes with. Like, that's any person that buys this helmet, that's what they're getting. I thought that was pretty cool because this is coming in for base colors at right under $600, $599, right. Another 20 or 30 bucks for different colorways. It's a little bit up from the last helmet, not too bad, but in a helmet or in a product range where your top end helmets are coming in anywhere from $600 to $800, it was cool to not only get a premium helmet, but to also get a lot of those accessories with it. Now I've kind of given you guys the surprise of what's in the box. Let's talk about the safety features, why everybody buys a high-end motocross helmet. We got Michael Croco here. He is the global marketing manager. Yeah. I almost got one. From Fox Racing for the motorsports or power sports category. Yeah, so everybody wants to know, why is this safer than your guys' outgoing V3?
So to begin, MIPS Integra Split is featured in this helmet. MIPS Integra Split was a technology and partnership we introduced with MIPS in 2022 in our ProFrame RS helmet, a lightweight downhill mountain bike helmet. Now it's coming across to the motocross category, featuring the new V3 RS, and the MIPS Integra Split allows for 2 layers of EPS foam with a low friction layer and woofers of 10 to 15 millimeters to allow for 10 to 15 millimeters of movement. Sorry, I'm choppy through that, but the technology itself, it really allows for unique ventilation opportunities. So there's 4 additional vents on the top, and then also it allows for fine-tune adjustability within the EPS foam itself. So you'll find 3 different densities of foam within this helmet. Just one to protect against high-speed impact. So on the outer shell, a bit harder foam, and on the inner shell to protect against low-speed impact. So you'll have a bit softer. And you'll find that testing regulation within the ECE 2206. So this helmet passes ECE 2206 as well as the DOT certifications.
And personally, I'm a fan of that. There is still some people in the marketplace that think Snell is the premium. I'm way more of a fan of ECE. I'm somebody that's been more susceptible to concussions at low speed, and ECE is definitely more suitable for that. It's not as based off a road standard. Helps the weight quite a bit too. I believe we're in probably around 2.7 pounds, roughly up and down, 50 grams or so, depending on the shape or the size of the helmet. That is a little bit lighter than your guys' even outgoing helmet that was ECE, and I mean, we're almost half a pound under when you guys used to have a Snell-based helmet. So big fan of that. For anybody that's kind of probably watching the video, we tried to lay in how Integra Split works. I mean, we're all used to what MIPS looks like now between your comfort liner and your EPS, but this one, it's just so much more integrated, and it just makes basic sense. Once you pull the liner out of this and kind of play around with it, you really get an idea of what they're shooting for with this helmet. Another one I was a big fan of is, you guys tried the magnet thing on the prior helmet. It worked and it kind of didn't at times. Like it kind of became a little bit of a rude joke on the racing side, seeing them pop off. They were doing their job, but they didn't always hang in there. You guys went back to screws, but this thing is flexible enough. The visor will actually pop off around the screw if it needs to. It doesn't shear the screw, so you have to replace it. You just have to unscrew it and screw it back over it the way it's kind of tapered. So I like that a lot as well. Other thing talking about internal features, like we have routing for, again, if you're going to do a drink system, you guys have it where the pads kind of have the emergency pull system by pulling on the tabs. There's the built-in eject area
system
that you can pop out all the pros run that lifts off your head.
You have speaker recess.
You have speaker recess. If you want to run comm systems on one side or both, there's actually a little recess pad that you can take out and around your ear area. So again, between that and what I told you guys even comes in the box, like It's a very feature-ridden helmet, very features, a lot of options, a lot of accessories that come with it. It kind of covers all the bases. That's what I like about it. There's different helmets I get that have, oh, it has this, but this helmet has that. Again, it kind of covers all the bases. And we've gone to a point where helmets have more of a locked-in position, and we do actually have some visor adjustment here. It has a three positions. It's not locked into totally one position, which I like. Yeah, overall, we're definitely, you guys have checked pretty much all the boxes I can really think of. We've got good airflow, improved safety, a lot of features, good price compared to competitors. And I think one thing that stands out to me, you guys being able to add in all this, like I have people that come and go, man, I'm only gonna buy a helmet from a helmet brand because that's all they focus on. I get that theory, I do, that they're saying everybody there, that is their focus on product categories. However, something to be said with working with a brand also that has just a wide range of product, you guys have so much involvement, is being able to get all these options, all these materials into this for a better price because of your guys' wide range of product offerings.
Yeah, correct, yep. Yeah, we were just talking about this earlier, how the V3 RS stands for race spec, and the way I like to think about this helmet is it really is spec for a pro level rider. So the idea is you take it out of the box, it's got everything you need to go race at the pro level.
Last thing I think it's cool is, so my first real experience with Fox helmets when I got into media was when the V4 came out. And something, again, that kind of plays into you guys having a larger product offering, you're able to order more product, and it kind of worked out, is on the V4, you guys introduced, I believe you had 4 or 5 individual shell sizes, EPS sizes. Every helmet was its individual, which at the time was a big deal. A lot more brands have gone to that. That stays here as well. We have 5 individual shell sizes. There's 6 different EPS. The only carryover helmet is, I believe, an XL and a double XL, or is it an XS or a small?
No, it's extra large and XXL.
Share. Everything else is its own individual EPS, its own individual shell size. And then we aren't featuring it today. There is a standard V3 helmet. It looks a lot like this. It is a little bit different on some of the safety features, and there's youth sizes available in that helmet as well.
It's the little brother of the V3 RS, and it goes from youth small all the way up to double XL.
When will this be available? I've got it right now, but what, about 6 weeks or so?
Mid-October is the release date for this helmet specifically.
Now we have Kenny Day here. Kenny is the pro athlete manager for Fox Racing. So you're dealing with AC, Ken Roxon, all your athletes. That's a big one. You guys have a lot of mainstream high-end guys that can give you feedback on this. I know that was pretty important when you guys developed the new boots I'm wearing today that came out earlier this year. But even this helmet, again, I've seen AC in for a while. I know you've had Ken testing in it. What's some of the feedback they gave you off the last helmet that you felt like was most critical to get into this new V3?
So I think for us, like, a stepping stone for us is always safety, right? Like we always want to make the helmet safer. So that was definitely my part in this, is, making sure that, hey, the function side of it, and that we're creating a safer helmet. That's a good talking point for us. So the guys in general, we're asking for a little more ventilation, a little lighter, but overall function. And we've seen, that when we're at the races, we have like mud races, we got to add on foam, all these things. So we took everything that we learned at the races and brought it into this new helmet. So when you open the new helmet, you'll see you get a mud visor. Super cool. It comes with the actual foam, which has been kind of like a trade secret for a long time, but hey, we're gonna release it to the public and everyone can get it. So that's super cool. Not only does that translate from the feedback of the pro guys, amateur as well. Yeah. That's a key one. You go to Loretta Lynn's, you saw Loretta's this year. Any kid that was out there on the track without mud foam was feeling it. So yeah, all those little things, but creating a good overall safe helmet that vented, fit well, yeah, that was the plan.
Now, of course, pro riders can be picky because, I mean, partially that's just what you get to when you're that point, but also the guys, I mean, they do have the opportunity to work with you guys to even get custom stuff at times, so they will nitpick even more maybe than a consumer. Oh, I have a pressure point here. Oh, this liner rubs my cheek a little bit weird. Blah, blah. So, I mean, you have a wide range. What do you feel like compared to prior offerings, you've been able to get the production helmet more to where it suits a wider range of guys?
Correct. That was the plan when we got into this, is to put it on a lot of people, right? Not only Ken, Adam, Christian Craig, like, even though those guys are all medium and they all sign off on it, but it needs to go on everyone. And that was a key point to this, is we basically spent our time to make sure that when we put it on everyone that was, say, a size medium or size small, that it was right for everybody. So yeah, it's been good. There's been times in the past where we've had to do stuff like in the old helmets to just kind of get guys comfortable, but this one right out of the box, Ken and Adam, they're good with it right off the rip.
I think that's interesting. There's two different conversations when you're talking about how something fit. There's the form factor and then there's sizing. So by example, coming out of the last helmet, I had some form factor issues with some different pressures and a few things. I think the form factor has improved immensely on this helmet. I was really stoked on that. I'm a little on the snugger side, we found out today, and I am on some helmets. I'm tight on a medium. This one, I think I'm gonna prefer a large with a little bit thicker padding.
Yep.
That's just to say that's a sizing thing. Like, okay, I'm usually on the verge anyway, so that's not a big deal, but the form factor was better, which I was really stoked on. Yeah. Again, those pressure points that we found some prior helmets that seem to be really cured on this one.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, we you know, everyone has like their own sensitivities to it, yep. How it fits on your head, how it feels after a 30-minute moto, you know, like all those things that we have to factor in. Sometimes when you have, you know, your early stages of testing out here at Fox Raceway or whatever, you'll see things that we won't see on the race side, and then it flip-flops, right? I'm gonna see a lot more sweat issues, a lot more like actual impact of rock, all these things that I'm learning at the races, and everything that we're learning on the early side of it, we're just coming together to create a good helmet.
So you had one of your athletes already take a pretty good digger in this. We were joking about it. If you remember, AC had a pretty darn good one at Unadilla.
Yeah.
I was talking a little bit about this with Croco, was visors. Yep. Everybody kind of went, you guys were one of them, went to a system a couple years to try to get them to pop off a little bit easier.
Yep.
Maybe a little too easy at times. That was a running, it was a running joke. It is what it is, but we learned.
For sure.
AC did pop one off this, but it worked in the way we talked about. So this one is screwed in. It is recessed where with enough pressure, it will pop over the screws.
Yep.
Doesn't break off the screws. You're not trying to dig out broken ones. Seemed like AC was pretty good when he came back from that crash, and you were able to get his helmet back and ready to go.
Yeah, you know, the cool thing is I'm with these guys like all the time. Adam, Ken, you know, you name it. So I've seen them hit their head a few times, we'll just say that. And I can always tell when they look at me, I could see in the eyes whether they're good or they're bad. And, you know, thankfully, Adam did like come straight off the track after a big one at Unadilla, which we all know is a very high speed track. And you could see he hit every single point of the helmet and his tumble. And man, not only did it do its job, he was able to race the rest of the day, no issues. And it was cool for us too to just kind of see it, you know, more in action on a racing level, the way that the visor popped off. Everything that it's intended to do, it did, so that was great.
This is a little fun one you showed me this morning since you're always cleaning helmets. Your mouthpiece.
Yep, super cool. That for me is a lifesaver. You know, you're rushing at the race, you're trying to clean helmets and everything's moving quickly. I always get to a mouthpiece and I'm kicking myself, right? Because there's so much mud in there. So yeah, super cool feature. You can just pop this thing right out and wash it, do everything you need to do. It's also kind of cool because
there's
it's
a wash version too, or a hose version you can put a water system through.
In the helmet also comes a whole new mouthpiece with like a tube if you want to run a hydration pack. So instead of drilling, you know, if you're an off-road guy, it comes with that piece. So super cool, pops right back in, very easy.
Wow, that was way better than the time I tried it earlier.
You did a lot better than the first time. Another cool factor about this is, and I've been using it personally on Adam, is I can swap out these so easy that I adjust it to like what gear he's wearing, right? So I've been doing that as well. That's a cool little feature.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I think you guys really, really nailed it. Again, for a brand that has so many other products in the line, it could be easy to just put out something that's like, oh, this is pretty good, but this seems to really tick all the boxes. So as we mentioned earlier, this thing will be available mid-October, so we only have a few more weeks to wait, and I definitely think it's worth checking out. Like I said, for me personally, the only recommendation I would give out is if on a lot of mediums, if you're in most brands on the really tight side already, I would maybe try checking out one of these in store, but if in most mediums you're more of a loose or a medium fit, I think you'll be stoked on this in a medium. So thanks for watching, subscribe, check us out for more.